Today's video feature is retrograde extrapolation in North Carolina DWI and South Carolina DUI cases. Now, what in the world is that term? It's very difficult to say. I have to go very slowly to get it done. But basically, it's a situation where you are stopped on the side of the road and tested for DUI or DWI. You go through field sobriety tests, possibly some portable breath tests, and then you're arrested, and then there may be a significant gap in time between when you're stopped on the side of the road and when you're ultimately given a breath test or a blood test. It could be sometimes an hour or more, sometimes even longer. Now, in South Carolina, we have some protections built in for those accused of DUI. The state has 2 hours to get a proper breath sample or it cannot be used, or 3 hours for any type of blood or urine. In North Carolina, there is no such protection, but let's say that after a significant gap in time between the time you're stopped and in police custody and when you're ultimately tested, let's say your test comes back at 0.07 or even 0.06. Well, you say that's the end of this case. Yay, I was below the so-called minimum limit and I should be let go and any charges dismissed. Not so fast. Under retrograde extrapolation, what the state will attempt to do is to show that even though your blood alcohol reading was below the so-called minimum limit, that was 1 or 2 hours after you were stopped, and therefore, because you had not ingested any alcohol while in police custody, that means that the alcohol content in your blood had peaked and was coming down. And so therefore, even though it's below 0.08 at the time of testing, at the time you were stopped an hour or two earlier, it should have been above the limit, and therefore the jury should find you guilty of DWI or DUI. Now, it's a very complicated mathematical formula. A lot of juries don't understand it. I'm not sure I understand it either. And anytime I don't understand something, I argue that that is reasonable doubt. So even though the state and the prosecution will oftentimes try to use retrograde extrapolation to make a conviction, juries often get lost in the details, get lost in the math. So it is certainly an uphill battle, but it's certainly a fight that we have in a lot of cases. So I hope this helps. I'm sure it was a little confusing. I apologize for that. If you have additional questions, be sure to reach out to us. Have a great day.